and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
Prince William, heir to the British throne, has finally confessed to a long-held suspicion. At 41 years old, the future king has admitted what many have suspected for years. But what is the revelation that William has finally admitted to? And how will it affect his role as heir to the throne? Join us as we uncover this truth. The truth behind the palace walls. Prince William, the current Prince of Wales, is poised to become king, shaped not only by his royal responsibilities, but also by profound personal grief. His openness about mental health has motivated many, highlighting that even those born into privilege face heartbreak, confusion, and emotional struggles. Behind the royal facade is a man who once walked behind his mother's coffin, burdened by sorrow, and who now moves forward stronger for confronting his past. To outsiders, Prince William's life appeared flawless. As a child, he was cherished by the public, shielded by his family, and under constant scrutiny. Born on June 21, 1982, at St. Mary's Hospital in London, he was the first son of King Charles and Princess Diana, leading many to believe his life would be a fairy tale. However, within the palace walls, his childhood was marked by emotional turmoil and significant loss. Despite the luxury surrounding him, William's upbringing was not as idyllic as it seemed. His mother, Princess Diana, aimed to teach her children about life beyond their royal status.
I knew a fair bit of it, mainly because she came back with all these stories and full of excitement and just passion for what she'd been doing.
She took William and his younger brother Harry to places rarely visited by royal children: homeless shelters, hospitals for AIDS patients, and even fast food restaurants like McDonald's. Her goal was to expose them to the realities of the world beyond their privileged existence. Diana sought to raise her sons with compassion and a sense of normalcy, but she couldn't protect them from everything. The marriage between Diana and Charles was troubled, filled with arguments, emotional detachment, and relentless media scrutiny. William witnessed this turmoil from a young age, which profoundly affected him. Diana, grappling with her struggles, often turned to William for emotional support, referring to him as her little wise old man. At times, he took on the role of caretaker rather than just being her son. When Diana and Charles ended their marriage in 1996, William experienced the tension and sorrow more deeply than anyone realized. However, the true tragedy struck the following year. Diana lost her life in a car accident in Paris. William was at Balmoral Castle in Scotland with Harry when their father delivered the heartbreaking news. While the world mourned, no one felt the loss as intensely as her sons. During the funeral, millions witnessed William walking behind his mother's coffin, accompanied by Prince Harry, Prince Charles, Prince Philip, and Diana's brother. It was a touching scene. Two young boys in suits, walking silently, their faces blank with sorrow. Many thought William made the decision easily, but years later, he revealed he was uncertain about participating in the procession. It was his grandfather, Prince Philip, who kindly offered to walk with him, giving him the strength to proceed. Nevertheless, William later described it as one of the toughest experiences of his life. Following Diana's passing, William and Harry stepped back from the public eye. Although they continued with their royal responsibilities and education, their grief remained concealed. The public believed they were managing, but in reality, both boys were silently struggling. For William, the loss of his mother became a quiet weight he carried everywhere. In recent years, Prince William has begun to share the emotional impact of Diana's death on him. Discussing his mental health, he acknowledged that the trauma lingered. For a long time, he attempted to suppress his feelings, thinking he needed to be strong. He buried his emotions and concentrated on his studies, first at Eton College and later at the University of St. Andrews, where he met Kate Middleton, who would become his wife. He thought that keeping busy would alleviate his pain, But grief doesn't work that way. It remained with him, quietly influencing his path. In a rare and heartfelt moment, William shared that he still feels the impact of his mother's death, even after many years. This feeling has never faded. He described it as a burden he carries daily, something that has altered his perspective on the world, his relationships, and his role as a father and husband. The journey of a prince from boy to future king. From the very beginning, Prince William's life was anything but normal. Born into the most famous family in the UK, he was always surrounded by cameras and attention. As the first child of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, the world watched his every move. But behind the big smiles and royal events was just a little boy trying to grow up in a very unusual world. Princess Diana had a special way of raising her sons. She did not want William and Harry to grow up thinking they were better than others. She took them to places like homeless shelters and hospitals just to show them real life. She wanted them to be kind, humble, and to care about others. These simple lessons helped shape William into a thoughtful and down-to-earth person. But when Diana passed in a car accident, everything changed. William was just 15 years old. Losing his mother was heartbreaking, and the pain stayed with him for a long time. Even though he kept doing what was expected of him as a prince, he missed the person who taught him how to love, feel, and care deeply. As William grew older, he focused on his education. He went to several schools, including Eton College, where he studied hard and played sports like swimming and football. He was competitive and driven, and people started to see the leader he would one day become. He even had a serious head injury once during a game, which left a small scar on his forehead, a reminder that even princes have tough days. After school, William took a gap year and went on big adventures. He worked on farms, helped in Africa, and lived in simple places with other volunteers. He learned new things, made new friends, and even picked up a bit of Swahili. These experiences showed him how big and beautiful the world was outside palace walls. Later, William went to university in Scotland, where he tried to live like a normal student. He studied geography and worked hard on his dissertation about coral reefs. He joined the water polo team and made close friends. One of those friends was Kate Middleton, who would later become his wife. After graduating, William joined the military. Just like his brother Harry, he trained hard and served with pride. It wasn't easy, but it made him stronger and more prepared for the responsibilities that lay ahead. Through it all, William faced many quiet struggles. The loss of his mother, the pressure of being a prince, and the need to protect his brother from media attention. These were heavy things for a young man to carry. But he stayed strong, not just for himself, but for his family. Today, Prince William is a loving husband, a proud father, and a leader with a gentle heart. His story is not just about crowns and castles. It's about growing up with love, loss, and learning. It's about a boy who became a man by holding on to the lessons his mother gave him and turning pain into purpose. Love in the spotlight. Prince William's perspective on love, family, and relationships was influenced by challenging personal experiences from a young age. Growing up in the royal family came with its set of expectations and pressures, but the complexities of his understanding deepened when he witnessed his parents' marriage unravel. He experienced firsthand the emotional turmoil that can arise when love is overshadowed by public responsibilities and media scrutiny. These experiences left a lasting impact on him, shaping how he would navigate his relationships. As a child, William was acutely aware of living under the spotlight. The media closely monitored his every action, just as they did with his mother, Princess Diana. When his parents' marriage ended, it became a sensational news story rather than a private family issue, which profoundly affected him. He learned to be careful, not only with the media, but also with those he let into his personal life. This led him to prioritize trust, privacy, and emotional well-being above all else. This cautious mindset persisted as he matured. When he met Catherine Middleton in 2001 at the University of St. Andrews, their relationship started off simply. They were both students in the same dormitory and began as friends. Over time, their bond deepened. By their second year, they were sharing a flat with friends, enjoying their student life while keeping their relationship away from the public eye. Their relationship became official in 2003, but maintaining privacy proved challenging. The media began to closely follow their every move, turning their outings into news stories. This scrutiny created difficulties, and they briefly separated in 2004, only to reunite soon after. Despite the obstacles, their connection continued to strengthen, with Catherine providing steady support as William balanced his royal responsibilities and personal development. In 2007, the couple reportedly separated again, but their connection proved to be stronger than the speculation. Just a few months later, they were spotted together at public events, indicating that their relationship was still intact. Over time, Catherine became increasingly involved in royal family activities, attending events that highlighted her growing significance in William's life. The public witnessed their relationship evolve from a quiet friendship to a profound and enduring partnership. Their engagement was revealed in 2010 following a trip to Kenya, where William proposed during a private retreat. He presented her with his mother's engagement ring, a gesture rich in sentiment. Their wedding occurred on April 29, 2011, at Westminster Abbey, attracting millions of viewers worldwide. For William, it was also a deeply personal occasion. He later expressed that he felt his mother's presence during the ceremony, illustrating the strong connection between his past and present on that day. After their marriage, William and Catherine began to create a life that balanced royal responsibilities with personal fulfillment. They initially resided in Nottingham Cottage in London before moving to a larger home at Kensington Palace. Later, they were given Anmer Hall on the Sandringham estate, where they enjoyed quiet family moments from 2015 to 2017. In 2022, they relocated to Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, opting for a more private residence for their expanding family. Their marriage continued to grow, particularly after they became parents. Catherine's first pregnancy was announced in 2012, and she welcomed Prince George in July 2013. Princess Charlotte followed in 2015, and Prince Louis was born in 2018. Each child brought increased public interest, along with joy and significance to their lives. The couple also shared a passion for dogs, having two English Cocker Spaniels named Lupo and Orla. Despite the challenges, William successfully safeguarded his family while becoming more visible in public life. He embraced additional royal duties, emulated his mother by backing charitable causes, and worked to create a nurturing environment for his children. His way of handling relationships, both private and public, reflected a man who had gained wisdom from his experiences without being limited by them. Williams finally opened up about his grief, telling the world about his pain, yet he channeled it to a better cause. What path was it pushed to? Let's find out. From silent grief to mental health champion, Prince William has changed the conversation around mental health by openly sharing his experiences with bravery and sincerity. For many years, he kept quiet about the pain of losing his mother, Princess Diana, in a very public and tragic manner. Rather than allowing that pain to overwhelm him, he transformed it into a purpose.
I think it has to start with knowing the signs. So if there's basically 5 key signs, and if you think of them, you can really make a difference.
He has become a prominent advocate for breaking the silence and eliminating the stigma surrounding mental health. The loss of a parent is difficult for anyone, but William's grief was particularly public. The world was aware of his mother, and her passing was not just a personal loss. It was a global spectacle, with media coverage capturing every moment. This meant that William's grieving process was never private. The scrutiny was intense, and instead of expressing his feelings, he bottled them up. He later admitted that discussing his mother was too painful for many years, as he struggled to articulate his emotions. However, with time, reflection, and support, he learned to open up. In a touching interview, William shared that it took him almost 20 years to feel comfortable talking about his mother with honesty and tranquility. He emphasized the importance of confronting grief instead of suppressing it. Now, he feels he can remember his mother more clearly and discuss her openly, which has brought him solace. Despite this progress, there is still sorrow. William has frequently mentioned how heartbreaking it is that his wife Catherine and their children never had the opportunity to meet Diana. He often thinks about the guidance and support his mother could have provided him as a husband and father. He feels her absence not only for himself, but for the entire family she never got to know. This personal loss has become part of his broader message to the public. Grief is genuine, it is painful, and healing takes time. Recognizing the importance of speaking out, William teamed up with his brother Harry and his wife Catherine in 2016 to create the Heads Together campaign. Their aim was to transform perceptions of mental health, fostering an environment where seeking help is not a source of shame. Together, they motivated individuals to express their feelings, listen to others, and provide support. William's initiatives did not end there. He was instrumental in establishing Shout, the UK's first all-day-long text messaging service for those in crisis. Additionally, he contributed significantly to the launch of Mental Health at Work, a platform designed to assist employees facing stress and mental health issues. His outreach has impacted a diverse range of individuals, from office staff to emergency responders. His commitment to frontline workers intensified during the COVID-19 pandemic. Alongside Catherine, he initiated Our Frontline, a program aimed at offering mental health support to healthcare professionals and emergency service workers. William also created the Emergency Responders Senior Leaders Board to investigate the effects of stress and trauma on those in high-risk occupations. Over the years, William has consistently leveraged his platform to raise awareness. In radio interviews, he directly addressed the public, encouraging everyone to reach out to friends and family who might be feeling isolated. On World Mental Health Day in 2022, he and Catherine hosted a well-known youth radio show, engaging openly with young people about their emotional challenges and the significance of speaking out. In 2023 and 2024, the couple broadened their efforts to include rural areas. They collaborated with organizations to offer mental health support to farmers and tenants in the Duchy of Cornwall. In a field often marked by high stress and limited resources, this initiative highlighted William's dedication to reaching individuals throughout society. His recent backing of We Are Farming Minds, which includes funding new services and serving as a patron of the charity, demonstrates his desire to ensure that no one is overlooked. What distinguishes William's initiatives is his personal involvement. He has not only helped develop programs, but has also actively participated in them. During the pandemic, he volunteered as a crisis text responder. He has engaged in meaningful discussions about mental health with athletes, celebrities, and experts. These interactions reveal that he is not merely advocating for a cause, he is embodying it. Prince William has shown that being vulnerable is a strength, not a weakness. His transformation from silent sorrow to a vocal advocate is truly inspiring. He reminds us that it's acceptable to feel pain, to speak out, and most importantly, to seek help. By doing so, he is empowering others to find their voice and start their healing journey. Through his actions, Prince William is fostering a world where mental health is prioritized, where individuals do not feel isolated in their struggles, and where silence is replaced by empathy and understanding. His efforts continue to make a difference, one conversation at a time. The day the world cried. On the night of August 31st, 1997, the world was devastated by the tragic news of Princess Diana's death in a car accident in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. She was traveling with her partner Dodi Fayed, their driver Henri Paul, and bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones. The crash occurred as they sped through the tunnel, attempting to evade a group of paparazzi on motorcycles. Sadly, only one person survived, Trevor Rees-Jones, who sustained serious injuries but lived, while the others, including Diana, did not. Diana was taken to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital around 2 a.m. Despite the doctor's efforts to save her, she was declared dead just 2 hours later. Her death shocked the world, not only because she was a young and cherished public figure, but also due to the sudden and tragic nature of her passing in such a public setting. People around the globe mourned together, feeling a profound sense of loss, regardless of their background. Diana was more than just a princess. She represented compassion, love, and resilience. Her funeral on September 6th was broadcast worldwide, with over 32 million viewers in the UK and 50 million in the US. The service was aired in more than 200 countries, attracting about 2.5 billion viewers, making it one of the most watched events ever. Outside Kensington Palace, thousands gathered to pay their respects, leaving flowers, candles, cards, and touching messages. The gates were enveloped in a sea of blooms and photographs. Strangers comforted one another, sharing tears and hugs without knowing each other's names. Diana had made a significant impact on many lives, and her loss united people in a way that had not been seen in a long time. Many tributes came in from across the globe, but it was her sons, William and Harry, who felt the most profound sorrow. They had experienced the heartbreaking loss of their mother in a tragic manner, all while the world looked on. No child should have to follow their mother's coffin, yet both boys did so with remarkable grace and dignity. There were rumors and speculations regarding the cause of the crash. Some believed it was more than just a tragic incident. However, in 2008, a British inquest determined that Diana was unlawfully eliminated due to the grossly negligent driving of the involved vehicles. Henri Paul, the driver, was found to be intoxicated and driving recklessly. No conspiracy theories were substantiated. Ultimately, it was a tragic accident fueled by pressure, speed, and a frantic effort to evade the paparazzi. Diana's body was returned to London on August 31st, 1997, the very day of her death. Her coffin, covered with the royal flag, was accompanied by her former husband, Prince Charles, and her two sisters. Once they arrived, her remains were taken to a private mortuary before being transferred to the Chapel Royal at St. James's Palace. Following the public funeral service at Westminster Abbey, Diana was interred in a private ceremony later that day. The burial occurred at Althorpe House, her family's ancestral estate near Northampton. She was laid to rest on a small, serene island in the middle of a lake on the property, an area selected for its tranquility and privacy. Only her immediate family attended the burial. Her sons, her ex-husband, her mother, siblings, a close friend, and a clergyman. Diana wore a long-sleeved black dress that she had selected weeks earlier. In her hands, she held a set of rosary beads, a gift from Mother Teresa. Soldiers from the 2nd Battalion of the Princess of Wales's Royal Regiment carried her coffin to the island. Diana had been the regiment's colonel-in-chief from 1992 to 1996. Initially, the plan was to lay her to rest in the family vault at a nearby church. However, her brother, Lord Spencer, was concerned that too many visitors would disrupt the peaceful village of Great Brington. He wanted to safeguard his sister's memory and provide her sons with a tranquil place to mourn. This is why Diana was buried on the island, allowing her family to visit her grave privately and care for it with love. The world lost a truly remarkable person that day. Yet the memory of Princess Diana endures, not only within her family but also in the hearts of millions worldwide. Her compassion, courage, and warm spirit are unforgettable. Even in death, she continues to bring people together in love and remembrance. Prince William might have grieved his mother for a long time, but his pain was nothing compared to that of Prince Harry. How deep was this loss to Prince Harry? Let's dive into it. Prince Harry's hidden heartache. When Princess Diana passed, the entire world paused. People everywhere expressed their sorrow, cried for her, and remembered her as the cherished people's princess. However, behind the public grief, two young boys were experiencing a pain that no tribute could mend. One of them was just 12 years old, Prince Harry. Both Prince William and Prince Harry were heartbroken over their mother's death, but they coped with their grief in very different ways. At 15, William had a clearer understanding of the situation, while Harry, still a child, struggled to comprehend the enormity of the loss. For years, he buried his feelings so deeply that he began to think it was normal to grow up without a mother. Instead of moving forward, he completely shut down emotionally. In contrast to his older brother, who gradually started to open up, Harry kept his suffering hidden. He seldom talked about it, even with close friends or family. His grief remained locked away, unresolved and untouched. It wasn't until nearly 2 decades later that he began to confront what he had lost. When he finally did, the pain was more intense than he had anticipated. The therapy he started, reportedly encouraged by Prince William, helped him realize the burden he had been carrying since childhood. It felt like peeling away layers of silence to uncover a mountain of sorrow beneath. Everything he had ignored for years came flooding back all at once. It was overwhelming, confusing, and at times, almost too much to bear. One of the most surprising revelations from Harry was that he had only cried twice since Diana's passing.
I never shed a single tear at that point. I was in shock, you're 12 years old, sort of 7:30 in the morning, early.
The first was at her funeral, and the second occurred many years later. Given how deeply loved Diana was and the widespread mourning, Harry's lack of tears did not stem from indifference. Instead, it was due to his inability to process his emotions. He was too young, too shocked, and too confused to fully grasp what had happened. Rather than expressing his pain, he buried it deep inside. As young Harry observed countless strangers mourning his mother, he struggled to grasp why their sorrow seemed more profound than his own. Surrounded by intense public grief, he felt a sense of detachment. The fact that he wasn't crying or grieving like everyone else added an unusual layer of guilt. The expectation to remain strong, particularly as a member of the royal family, only intensified his struggle. Years later, Harry revealed that he had completely shut down his emotions. The emotional barrier he constructed as a child remained intact for much of his adult life. It wasn't until his late 20s that everything began to unravel. He started to experience anxiety, feelings of being lost, and a sense of impending breakdown. That was when he recognized the need for help. Therapy not only provided him with a space to talk, but also helped him confront the deep wounds left by his mother's passing. In a candid and emotional moment, Harry expressed how much he missed the little things, like the warmth of his mother's embrace. He portrayed Diana not merely as a princess, but as the ideal mother. Gentle, loving.
All I can hear is her laugh in my head, and that sort of crazy laugh of where there was just pure happiness shown on her face.
And always ready with open arms. His yearning for that unique comfort, that safe haven only a mother can provide, has never faded. He also mentioned that he and William think about her every day. They often ponder what kind of mother she would be today, and how their lives might have changed if she were still with them. Would she have continued her charitable work? Would she have supported them through their struggles? Would she have witnessed their families grow? Despite the passage of time, the sadness lingers. Grief does not have a timeline, especially when it begins at such a young age. For Prince Harry, his path through sorrow has been lengthy and isolating, yet it has also been one of personal growth. By sharing his experiences, he is helping others understand that even those who appear strong can feel deep pain, and that healing, while challenging, is always achievable. Harry's sorrow might have been concealed for a long time, but now that he has shared his feelings, his openness is aiding many others in recognizing their struggles. His journey teaches people that it's acceptable to express emotions, to communicate, and to allow themselves the time needed to heal. From sorrow to strength. Prince William was born into a life of royalty, with everything most people could only dream of: castles, titles, and a future crown. But behind the royal doors was a young boy who faced a deep and heartbreaking loss. When his mother, Princess Diana, passed suddenly, William was just a teenager. That moment changed his world forever. The sadness was heavy, and for a long time, he kept much of it inside. As he grew older, William carried the weight of being a future king. But along the way, something began to change. He started to open up, not just about his duties, but about his feelings. He began to speak honestly about grief and mental health, two things not often talked about in royal circles. His openness helped many others feel seen and understood. He showed that even someone in his position could struggle, and that it's okay to talk about it. Today, Prince William is a husband to Catherine, Princess of Wales, and a proud father to 3 beautiful children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. Together, they are raising their children with love, warmth, and honesty. William wants them to grow up in a world where talking about emotions is normal, where kindness matters, and where asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. As he moves closer to becoming king, William is proving that leadership isn't just about wearing a crown. It's about caring, listening, and using your voice to help others. He honors his mother's memory, not just with words, but with actions. And in doing so, he is building a legacy all his own, one full of heart, healing, and hope. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Prince William's revelation? How would it affect the monarchy? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before you go, be sure to click on the video shown on your screen.